The Freljord Clash MEGACAST.
Freljord.
The Freljord Cup. It's my favorite. It's my favorite tribe to play in Legends of Runeterra. I love my Freljord deck.
Just because you're a filthy control player.
Yes, the freeze decks are so fun.
Fun and interactive.
All right. So as we predicted before we got into the cast, it is gonna be Ezreal Leona. Oh, actually, I should turn on my Discord stream.
Not much of a surprise there. And he's been spamming Ezreal, and Raven only plays Leona.
Yeah, that's true. You do have to forgive me if I breathe heavily. I have a piece of food stuck in my throat. In these conditions,
you might want to get that checked out.
It's very difficult to cast in this condition. Like I can't speak as clearly as I want to. Seems like
is it Jungle Maokai on Andy's team?
No, it is. Oh,
right.
Oh my god, it is. Because I know that's Kevin playing Galio.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Galio mid.
Galio and Maokai are basically his champ pool, so I'm surprised to see them both. That's surprising. I'm willing to bet this is Ryan first timing Maokai.
No. Ryan is playing. Oh, sorry, I can confuse Ryan and Raven.
Yeah, Ryan's not playing. I'm willing to bet this is first time Maokai.
Mm-hmm.
A very bold strategy in Freljord Clash.
He seems to like tanky CC junglers. Zac being his usual go-to that gets banned.
My concern was the blue team here is that they actually they don't have that much damage.
Yeah, it's just they're really relying on the...
Galio is not a significant source of magic damage. He does AP burst a little bit, but it's not as strong as it should be late game in terms of the damage department. They have so many tanks and bodies protecting the Ezreal. Fiora outputs true damage, but she might find it difficult to get it off against a team like Red Team with like Twitch, Aphelios, Thresh, Malzahar, Kled. It's a pretty scary lockdown comp they have over there. And the biggest concern here with Blue Team is I think they overdrafted too many tanks. And it's a legitimate problem for them that they might actually run out of damage before they can kill everybody.
And that Twitch is gonna build to shred.
And in that respect, Kled is actually a really good pick here as well, because Kled loves playing into tanks. Tanks just cannot do enough damage to Kled before he can remount, so he can play really free here. And just Kled himself.
It's a very opposite team comp. You have the tanky CC on blue side, and you have almost no tanks on red side, just all damage.
But I think Red Team actually has the tools to beat all the tanks in this game. But we'll see. We're gonna get into the game 1 of Freljord Cup. Freljord. I'm ESL. You can't make me pronounce that. It's not physically possible. I'll just say Ice Cup.
The cold cup.
The cold cup.
Except cup.
Except even though it's the Ice Cup, they're not actually turning the map into winter mode. It's still the good old green Summoner's Rift.
And I don't remember them.
No, they don't do that.
Years.
There's no alternate map skins. Oh my gosh, get out of here, overlays. I played one game of TFT and now the game puts the TFT overlay on all my games. I'm gonna turn off Overwolf real quick. Give me a sec. See, the announcer can say it properly, but I can't.
Okay. Fast forwarding to 16 seconds.
Yep. Alright, we are at live. Let's jump into this game and let's reorganize the scoreboard. I know where blue team's going because these are my homies. So I know other roles. I'm just gonna reorganize. Now for red team, not the homies, the home and away team as it were. The away team is playing a very interesting comp here. It's gonna be Twitch Jungle.
Yeah, the Twitch Jungle.
Twitch Jungle.
I don't know about the Twitch Jungle here.
It's definitely a very greedy pick. Like you can get very terrifying early ganks. Level 2.
True.
Level 2 Twitch is like probably the most scary level 2 jungler in the game.
That's very true, but I feel like he prefers to gank someone squishy who's gonna die easily.
I mean, tanks don't get tanky early game. It's not like It's not like Galio walks in the lane and immediately he's indestructible, especially not against the Twitch. In fact, our tankiest member on the team is jungling. Fiora is not particularly tanky. Neither is Galio against physical damage. Oh wait, Fiora, she might be walking into a little bit too much trouble. Deep ward gets caught out. Does she have the lunge? She does have the lunge. She gets it over the wall. Twitch will start the expunge, and Fiora's probably going to be forced back home here. Might actually lose the teleport as well. I think this recall's taking weight. Yeah, she has a teleport back to lane, so that's bad. That's awful. That's a 7-minute cooldown.
That puts her very far behind.
Like, it's 7 minutes if you're level 1.
And we can see... Oh, is he going for the level 2 gank? He won't make it's too pushed up.
Yeah.
He might get some harass.
He reveals, does one auto attack and backs off. But meanwhile, bot lane we have Thresh trying to exert some pressure. That's kind of the problem here with blue team's draft, where you just kind of get out pressure early game. It's very difficult for you to actually find the trade. And oh my god, the Aphelios is just outputting damage on the Leona. Like,
it's kind of natural for Leona to just give up the level 1. She doesn't really...
Somewhat ironically, I guess, blue team has all the tankiness, but they have none of the dive. Fiora had some decent diving potential, but it's very difficult for Fiora to access backline in this game. And really,
the Maokai ult is not bad of an engage. Not a dive, but it is a good engage.
It's more of a zoning tool than an engage tool. You usually don't want your enemies to see your engage coming from a mile away. It's more of a, oh no, Maokai ultimate, I guess we'll all move out of the way. Oh, but here comes the lockdown here. Flash, twisted advance, onto the Malzahar. I almost said Maokai, but the Malzahar is going to be rooted up. First blood to the Galio.
And the Maokai reminding us why people used to Maokai jungle.
Yeah, Maokai's kit hasn't changed, really. Ever since the season 5-6 rework. He's been more or less the same. But here comes a Twitch gank on the bottom lane. Instant flash out by the Leona, but it's not enough. Thresh will claim that kill and immediate teleport here from the Galio. 3-man taunt. He's gonna punch up the Twitch. There's so much damage going down, but the Ezra needs one more auto. He's not gonna get it. Galio gets it instead. Galio now takes double buffs. Thresh has to try to run away as well. He's not gonna make it out. 2 for 1. And blue team takes all of Twitch's buffs for themselves.
I have to say, this Maokai is in the right places at the right time.
Yeah, so far making really positive plays. And the really good response TP as well. Just diving face first into a 1v3 and actually finding the lockdown onto the Twitch. And this is disastrous for the Twitch.
And that was a beautiful 3-man taunt by the Galio, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And this is awful for the Twitch now, because what do you do here? You just lost double buffs as a jungler that's almost entirely momentum based. If you fall behind the Maokai, you become completely useless.
I think he's looking for something top here.
He is, but he's gonna secure the Scuttle first, it seems. He's gonna shoot out the Scuttle Crab.
This is a problem. The Kled really needs to get back on his mount.
Yeah, but Kled can't really trade against the Fiora here. He's gonna try the pistol. The slow will land and the crit does as well. Fiora has to try to get back. Kled is so low. Kled can't really remount, but here comes the Twitch. This is a pretty long bait here. And here comes the Twitch here for the kill. Fiora has to try to make it out. She has the flash. Not enough.
That's okay, though.
Yeah. Fiora gets punished for overstaying. You think she figured something was up, because I don't think Kled normally would stay at that low health. But here comes the Galio trade. Double buff does so much damage. He's going to flash forward. Can he confirm the kill here? One more punch will do it. He does get it, but the tower shot going to leave him at that health. Twitch claims his boss back. Getting the shutdown.
The buff reset.
Yep. So
clearly
now it's
all planned by the Twitch.
Now it turned from bad to good, because now Twitch gets his double boss back and a kill on top of it. I believe this is what
2 kills.
Yeah, 2 kills. This is what they call investment banking, and the investment is paying off. But as this game drags on, I don't think this game favors blue team if it goes too late. Late game, Aphelios and Twitch just have all the tools to kill tanks, and they really need more dive. You can solar flare the back, like you can picture a late game team fight happening with 5-on-5, and you all run into each other. You solar flare the back line, and Maokai twists advanced in. Then what? How do you get your Ezreal in, and how do you get your Fiora? How do you get your carries past things like the Malzahar and the Thresh that has so much disengage and zoning tools in their disposal. And here comes the Thresh hook. It's gonna miss, but the Flash Flay. Twitch gets his 3rd kill in the game. It's now 4-4. Double sweeper at the same time. They're gonna double team this ward at mid lane. That was almost like synchronized swimming. And here comes Fiora. She wants more. She's gonna proc the Vital. And now the Twitch gets found out by the Maokai. Twisted advance in. He's starting the fight. Galio ultimate comes down. Twitch does not have his flash. He's gonna be locked down, killed off. Double buff over to the Ezreal. Disastrous turn of events. That's the one person you don't want to give double buffs to. And now Ezreal gets to wear it. Yeah, Twitch finds a situation that he cannot possibly live. And now Claire might get dismounted again. Grand challenge goes down on the Fiora. She's gonna issue it, but she's missing 2 vitals. She might not find it. Flash, the Kled is chasing after her. One more auto will do it. Kled gets the remount. Solo kill for the Kled.
And this Galio does not care about anything that Malzahar is doing.
Yep, but top lane, an awful turn of events for the Fiora. Not able to complete all the vitals for the grand challenge, getting solo killed by the Kled. Really, she's not really being put on the back foot, and not to mention that tower taking so much damage. And this is relevant.
Does he have Demolish? How does
he does have Demolish.
Because he took those plates fast, like really fast.
But now this is in a really bad position for top lane, because guess what? Herald is spawning, and with that little health left on the tower, one Herald charge one-shots it. This is a really easy first tower if the Twitch makes this rotation up top at the 8-minute mark. But here comes the Maokai. He wants some trading. Twisted advance. Bramble smash knocks him back. And now the Vital is spawning. Fiora gets the hit. He gets dismounted. One more hit will do it. Will the Fiora go for it? Repulse kills it off. Fiora finally gets on the board, but she loses almost all her health to do it. The Twitch is going to respond by taking away the Drake. Red team slays the Ocean Drake. The next Drake to spawn will be Infernal. You know what I'm surprised by? Oh, hold that thought. Twitch might be coming for gank. He's level 6. He got the spray and pray. He's gonna pop out of stealth. The shots are landing onto the Leona. The root goes down, but she's so far under the tower. Twitch cannot possibly follow up. He has to back off here. Leona is safe. The Twitch might not be. The Ezreal's bloodthirsty. He's still chasing after the Twitch. He won't make it out though. You know what I'm surprised by? The fact that this late into season 2020, we still don't get the Drake spawns outlined at the start of the game. I feel like that's some critical information, you know? Like if you knew like, oh, first Drake is this, second Drake is that, and then this game is like an X Rift. I feel like that information would actually help drafts, but it's never shown. You get to find out for yourself in games. And I feel like that's kind of detrimental. But here comes the Fiora top lane issuing the grand challenge yet again. This time might be better than the last. She does get the healing zone down. And now the Kled gets dismounted. Fiora's half health. She has all the tools to fight this with. Kled has to make a last stand and he doesn't get it. Fiora gets a solo kill right back at him. But the Herald, 9.5 minutes in, is untouched in his den. Or in her den. What gender is the Herald?
I think...
The LCS, LEC broadcast crew refer to it as Shelly and gives it a female gender.
Yeah, I think it's a she.
But is it canonical? That's my concern. I need somebody from the Riot Lore team to actually confirm this.
Riot Lore team, mega low.
I don't laugh at them. Their lore team is really good, better than their design team. League lore is actually really well written. Too bad like 10 people care about it. And then everyone else just watches Necrit and they're like, oh, I'm a lore master now. Oh, but here comes the Herald. It's going to be started up. I got a Discord ping for somebody. According to the wiki, it's a she. But then again, it's the wiki. Unless a Rito member actually edits the wiki. I don't think they do. Herald is going to be taken away by Twitch. He will secure it. And like I said, this is dangerous. One Herald charge top and that turret is as good as dead. First turret 11 minutes in is pretty disastrous. It seems like that is the call. Twitch is rotating up for right now. Fiora stranded. Maokai is not in position to help.
Oh, the Twitch showed.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not gonna pop it. He's gonna leave.
He's gonna leave. He's just gonna recall, and he's out of there.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Now we have the rest of the fight playing out. The goal lead still almost perfectly even. 11 and a half minutes into the game. They're just waiting for one critical play to actually swing the goal around. So far, both teams are really even. But as the game slowly slides into the mid-game phase, we might see some more explosive skirmishes, some more explosive fights play out. And then it might actually decide who's the winner. But here comes the Aphelios engaged! So much damage onto the Ezreal. He gets killed off instantly. Didn't even pop heal.
That was a little bit of brain lag. He dashed just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and doesn't actually heal in time to stop the Aphelios flamethrower damage. Shelly gets the freest charge of all time. First turret to red team. I feel like that might have been the play that blew the game open. Even though it was kind of unceremonious. There are going to be plays lost left and right. Shelly is still alive. Klez going for this charge, but it gets reposted. And the Herald going to make a second charge. Galio's going to all top. But here comes the rest of the CC. Fiora has to flash away. The Maokai shows up out of nowhere and kills the Twitch from behind. Double kill for the Maokai. And the Galio has been routed. But bot lane, so many plates being lost. The bottom turret down to his last plate here. Maokai is not giving up. One more twist to the west. He might have the range for it. Flash forward from the Galio, but he doesn't secure the sapling. Also not going to find it. Malzahar just casually walks away while blue team shouts curses at him and blows summoners left and right, but does not catch him. Ezreal has rotated mid. They have given up on the bot turret, but now they're going to try to make a siege happen at mid lane. Red team is sitting ahead. 2,000 lead.
Despite catching the Kled and the Twitch, that was just such a huge gold swing for red team. Absolutely massive.
Getting, I believe, like 10 plates in that entire sequence of events. Which is just
7.
crazy.
There was already 3 plates missing on the top tower.
Right. 7 plates on top of another Herald charge.
On top of first tower gold.
Yeah. There's just so much lead. Oh, the Fiora gets caught out here by the Twitch. She was recalling and shopping. Instantly killed off by the prowling rat. The rat finds his 4th kill of the game. He has more than half of his team's kills. But meanwhile, if you look at the kill distribution on blue team, it's not favorable. Because your tanks are the one that's fed. And your tanks aren't going to be the ones to kill Aphelios and Twitch late game. So it's really up to the carries to either step it up or find their own sources of income, because right now they're being outstripped. And here comes another skirmish. The Aphelios cannon finds 3. Maokai gets rooted up. He gets deleted before even walking in. True Shot Barrage finds the Aphelios here. The stretch hook lands on the Ezreal. Twitch is going to ambush in. He's going to find it. The lockdown is not there in time. Ezreal will die. And now the Leona changed after the rat. She has no solar flare, but the flash forward catches the Twitch. Camouflage is revealed. The W kills him off. I believe it's like Eclipse or something. I forgot the name. Leona Eclipse finds that kill. Which is weird that she has an ability called Eclipse. She's supposed to be like all about the sun. And one of her abilities is named after the absence of the sun. So let's make a bet right now as this game is continuing. We'll actually put something on the line. What placement do you think Team EZW will have in this Freljord clash?
If they lose this, they can only place 5 to 8, right?
Yes. This is essentially a 1 in 8 guess, because I think this game can still go either way.
Yes, I give them 4th place.
4th place, okay. If
It's
you...
4th or 5th, it's really hard to tell. What are those? But I'm gonna give them, be optimistic.
Oh, here comes the Leona. She's gonna get puked on by the Malzahar. And Guy with glasses kills off the Leona, but the 3-man taunt coming in from the Galio, but there's no damage here. They have to try to get out. Ezreal just shows up from the sidelines, but he seems to be alone. There's no protection. Fiora is still farming top lane all this time. They don't find a counter kill, but the Maokai tying up the Kled under the tower. He gets hooked back. The Aphelios damage is landing. The shield is not enough to save him. The Galio taunt, it won't find the Kled, and the Fiora coming in, but he does not stop the Kled in time. The Twitch ambush is coming back in. True Shot Barrage does not kill anybody off. Everyone on red team is so low. Twitch Poison is gonna send the Galio running back home. And now 5-man strong, they're gonna start this push down mid lane. Alright, I need you to lock in 4th or 5th.
5th.
5th. Alright, after that fight, the faith has been all but shattered, so now it's 5th.
You know, I actually don't necessarily think this game is completely over.
Oh,
I think the tanks can do a decent job of locking down the carries late game, but we'll see.
Certainly not. That skirmish was lost because the carries never arrived in time. But
yeah, there was a very good Leona ult. The Galio got in there. They just did not have right in that to follow it up.
Right. So we'll put something on the line here. If your prediction is perfectly correct, I'll just give you the Pajama Guardian Urgot skin because to commemorate your beautiful Urgot game.
All right. How about you, Logan? What are you betting?
I'm not betting anything. This is your game.
Okay,
if
but
you don't bet, you got
predict?
nothing on the line.
Where do you predict they will place?
Well, obviously, this is our Clash team. I believe in my boys, so I'm going to say they place first, but that's not going to happen.
That's Logan, optimistic and loyal as always.
Loyal as always, but this Maokai is going to get caught out here, instantly killed off in the middle of 4 people. Herald number 2 is going to go the way of Red Team.
Respect to this Thresh, for the most part, his plays have been pretty on point in catching people out.
Yeah. The Thresh has definitely been making really positive plays. And now Red Team is actually sitting on a 4,000 gold lead. The gold lead has just actually increased quite a bit.
Despite the kills being even, that's all from towers. Because even in CS, they're pretty evenly matched.
Oh, for sure. It's 4 towers
it's just
to
the towers.
It's 4 towers to 0 here. That's pretty monstrous of a lead.
Oh, I have to admit, I totally missed when Blue Team took Dragon.
They secured it a while back. But I don't think the Recta camera showed it to me either.
Yeah.
Or it might have just totally escaped our minds, like, oh, they did something. They did something. All we've been watching is
Maokai just soloed it. Yeah. Maokai just soloed it.
All we're watching is them losing the game so far. I didn't actually think they get anything. Now, 18.5 minutes in, Red Team, I say they're in the solid driver's position right now. They're gonna try to make some more plays happen. Baron's gonna spawn in a minute and a half. Dragon will come up at exactly the same time. So, where will they go? Feel like this Dragon will be the next point of contention. Twitch still has the Herald. I believe he's intending to hold on to it until Dragon spawns, deploy it somewhere, draw people to that lane, and then get this first Drake. And I think time's running out here for Blue Team. Red Team is getting into position where the mid game, basically whether they like it or not, will settle in because important objectives will start spawning. And for them, they're actually running out of time because if Red Team's so ahead, they can just keep on forcing the issue. And then Blue Team will just slowly bleed out more and more.
Logan, how do you see the Dragon timer?
So on the bottom left, in interface visibility, you turn on objective timers.
Gotcha, thank you.
Now critically, Herald is going to be deployed top, like I predicted, 20 seconds away. It's going to be a Herald top play. This cannot be ignored. That could be a dead inhibitor tower, but neither can the Leona. She's going to be puked on by the Malzahar and taken down instantly. The Leona is gone without popping anything. Ezreal gets stole by the Kled and killed off in the back line, and the Galio's next to follow. A 3-for-0 team fight. Make it 4. Maokai is going to be grabbed back and killed off by the Aphelios. A total wash. Fiora was caught top lane to deal with the Herald. Red Team places a trap and springs it on top of Blue Team, getting a Drake, and now beelining straight towards Baron Nashor. They want more. They want their cake, and they want to eat it too.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Leona, as we can see, got taken out immediately. Didn't even get a chance to solar flare.
Yeah, a full-on CC train. The catch is just insane, and without Leona there, Ezreal just gets jumped on by the Kled and just killed off.
Yeah, and the Galio is in the middle of 3 people and just getting shredded by the physical damage on Red Team.
I mean, if this game teaches you one thing, it's that CC doesn't always win games. Well, it does, but like tanks don't always win you games. You definitely need the damage to follow through, and in that case, when you lose the Leona, when you lose the Ezreal, it's full retreat mode. There's no way you can actually fight it anymore. You can't find any more advantages, and you just kind of get run over. And now red team sitting with 2 Drakes, but more importantly, a Baron. What's a man to do? So, what do you do here?
I don't know. This is a good question. I mean, they can't. I feel like no one on blue team is strong enough to split push. This Fiora is, as we see.
Yep. Getting solo. Wait, that's a dead Fiora! Oh no!
Yeah.
Yeah, if your Fiora just solo dies in this situation, that's bad.
It's very bad. It's. I mean, now the Kled can pressure them on the side, and this is a troubling game.
Yep. Blue team is running into the serious issue of no damage. Ezreal doesn't output consistent DPS. He outputs burst DPS as a kind of a burstish caster carry. But if you're talking sustained DPS, he doesn't do as much DPS as Twitch or Freljord in this case. And they definitely don't have the lockdown to live in a prolonged teamfight. Who's pinging me?
Just.
Oh, I'm getting
just zoom in on the genitals.
The fight might be turning south here. Galio gets hooked up by the Thresh. He's getting solo killed by the Thresh. And the Maokai gets puked on, locked down. Solar Flare and True Shot completely whiffs. Fighting absolutely nobody. And this game is just turning from bad to worse. Here comes the Kled charge. Ezreal's in the front lines. Nobody's tanking. Fiora gets the repulse now, stunning the Kled in place. But the Leona is the next victim here. Galio gets the jump, but he finds almost nothing here. Kled just eats a tickle as the return damage. And the siege is coming in. They have no Maokai. Gold lead is climbing up to 10,000. 23 minutes in. This game is a slaughter. What do you do here? What's your out? Do you have one anymore?
I don't know. With that inhibitor going down, I don't see how they come back from this.
What do you do to, like, can you find a kill, or I don't think it's possible.
I guess blue team has pretty good pick potential with the Leona, then the Galio follows up. But red team is pretty much just sticking together into one pretty big death ball, minus maybe the Kled.
Right. So what do you do here? Aphelios is gonna try to push in again, allows the Thresh, but now pressure from every side. They've already lost one inhibitor, and Maokai is just walking in, looking at his new home, going, nice place, mind if I take it? And he's just making blue team's base his own. And they're just losing ground all over the place.
And as we've said before, this Fiora can't stop the Kled.
Yeah, there's no way that this siege just stopped. And the Fiora gets lashed back again. This might be another kill here for the Kled. Grand Challenge is issued. Charge will bonk into him. Fiora's actually winning this trade, but she's not hitting the Kled. She's hitting minions, and the Aphelios rotates in. The Maokai jumps in. It's a valiant effort, but it's not enough. True Shot Barrage basically may as well have not hit because it does no damage. The Sanus Blade does find the Aphelios. The lockdown is there. They kill him. The shutdown is there. Double kill.
Good
for the
follow-up. Follow-up.
Yep. But red team claims another Drake. The Twitch was not there in that fight. They find a good team fight, but only in the context of a multi-man catch onto a scattered group. This is not a guaranteed outcome for them every time. They have to contend with their new life inside their own base, being puked on by a Malzahar. And here comes the Twitch. They're down 2 people. They don't even care. They're still trying to make this fight happen. Spray and pray, chunking out the Leona, sending her back home. And the Ezreal trying to land some damage. Can he find any? The Felios and Thresh still haven't respawned yet. Malzahar flashes away, but he gets found by a missed shot. The Twitch will turn with the damage, but instantly collapsed back by blue team. They're gonna kill off the Twitch here. Shutdown. This is a delayed ace from blue team. And Barrett and Asher up in 40.
Fortunately, red team will be back to contest it, but was it worth it? I feel like it probably was. In the context of Baron about to come up, having 2 open inhibs like that.
I feel like they
Well, it's a good amount of gold, but
they definitely did overcommit quite a bit. The Fiora, excellent repost. Gonna get herself out. But she gets hooked back and grabbed, and here comes the Aphelios damage. Fiora's right now so squishy, she can't really fight this. Grand Challenge gets issued. Moonlight Vigil gets completely away. The 2 teleports coming down, but one is in a better position than the other. Malzahar is going to come down. The Puke might land. The Puke is not there. He's going to get turned on. But the Fiora gets killed off first. Is there still damage left? There is. Maokai slaps him, but he gets hooked back in place. Aphelios damage coming down. Thresh gets traded back. The charge is coming in. 2-man root from the cannon. The Kled charge is coming back, and the Galio gets shot to death. The only frontline left is Kled.
Of what we were talking about. After the Fiora died, it took them so long just to kill the Malzahar.
Yeah, precisely.
There's just no damage on blue team's comp.
Precisely. Now they're
this is, I think, the end of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just the Ezreal. He can't even punch through the Kled. The Scarl health is just so tanky. And that's probably just going to be the end of the game. And with that, EZW falls into the lower bracket of Ice Cup. Or Cold Cup.
And we come one step closer to a 5th place finish.
Yep.
And my Star Guardian skin.
Yep, but they have to win 2 more games now. Can they do it?
I have faith in my boys. I have faith in
Alright, they're gonna have to make this miracle run through the lower bracket. But while they're getting ready for their next game, in fact, that game was so fast that they might have to wait for the other team to finish. We get some alone time here with just us, so let's try to fill some dead air.
Should we try to get Andy in here for a post-game interview?
No, I think he's preferring to discuss strategy with his boys. And generally, I don't do post-game interviews when the boys are losing, just because they might not be in the best mood.
That's fair.
I like to respect the fact that they need to regroup, they need to refocus, realign their objectives or whatever. So, I still think like the reason that game went so haywire, despite Ezreal doing the highest damage in the game, they just have no damage. Like, you can't finalize kills in fights. Like, sure, your stats gets padded, but in these fights, you just don't have what it takes to win. And it's definitely a symptom of drafting, like over-tanking in the draft.
And it's also because, like you said earlier about Ezreal,
Yeah.
Ezreal does not
Ezreal just doesn't do sustained damage.
consistent.
Not like Twitch and
Yeah,
definitely
like,
not.
He's
they
not
have-
auto-based, right? Even though
Yeah,
the standard accepted composition right now is for Ezreal to run Lethal Tempo, by the way, not Conquer. Lethal Tempo is taken more, just on average across rank stats. I'm not saying Conquer is bad, but like Lethal Tempo is more commonly taken. It just supplies Ezreal with an alternate source of DPS when he doesn't have skills up.
So who do we think was the MVP for Red Team that game?
I'm gonna give the MVP vote actually to, I believe, either the Thresh or the Kled. I think the Kled definitely held his own.
I think the Kled definitely made a few really good catches.
I think
and definitely won his.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you say
Go ahead,
Thresh and
Yeah, Thresh was also he was making so many picks.
yeah, Thresh definitely made it.
Almost every hook was transitioning to a kill at the beginning of a fight.
And
Right.
like
They were so
the bot
Yeah.
lane.
Yeah, those bot lane kills.
there were so few clean 5v5 fights because somebody almost always got deleted by the Thresh hook.
Yeah, it's definitely Thresh starting most of these fights as well, and it's really impressive watching the plays here. Actually, he definitely made some really nice hooks. I do want to also just shout out the Kled because I think it's really important that he actually won his lane in the way he did. Like in my mind, the thing that actually blew the game open was the fact that he was able to get that early solo kill onto the Fiora and then transitioning that into a 10-minute Herald into 11-minute first tower. And that was actually probably the defining play that blew the game open because from there, blue team just got pulled apart. They had a tank comp and they wanted to play the group up strat. But when you lost your tower so early and when one of your players is being pressured so hard, you just can't make it happen. And then the rest of the map just kind of opens up as all of red team's playground, essentially.
It's also like, yeah, like if Ezreal didn't get fed, Fiora would be the backup.
Yeah,
and
for
Fiora
sure.
definitely did not back
Fiora
up.
was very nicely neutralized this game.
Yeah.
Overall. So I think going to the next game, what do you think Team EZW will have to do to readjust?
I think they'll have to choose between do they want the support, the mid, and the jungle can't all go tanky CCs. This is like the opposite of your typical solo queue comp. Usually in solo, everybody wants to go the flashy high damage champions, you know?
Right.
But with Team ECW, it's like they're all like, no, I'll support, I'll tank, you do the damage, who's doing the damage? That's what I'm asking.
But here's the problem that I guess the Achilles heel of this team is almost everybody here plays a tank. Like that's their entire champ pool. It's just tanks.
And supporting the AD carry. But we need someone to pop off too.
Because when I play for this when I play for this team, I only play 2 champions. I play Nico and I play Ornn. And I think more often than not, I play Ornn.
It could work if Andy is on a true like hyper carry.
But in Andy's mind, he's gone on record saying this before as well. He truly believes that Ezreal is the best AD carry in the game. Or at least in his exact words were, if you wanted to carry low elo, just spam Ezreal. He's your free elo pick.
I think the reason for that is because in solo queue, nobody will peel for you. So you need a champion that can keep himself alive.
Yeah,
but when you have a team that will keep you alive, that you can rely on, you can play a more risky AD carry.
But let's not deny that Ezreal is a very good pick. Like he does so much damage. It's just not sustained damage.
Yes, exactly.
You're counting on WQE auto to just kill someone outright.
Yeah,
and or at least take someone out of the fight.
Picking a whole team a tank comp, they can't do enough damage later on in the game.
Yeah,
especially against Aphelios since Twitch.
If the Aphelios was on blue team, I think this game changes because everybody on blue team just packs so much CC. They group everybody up. Moonlight Vigil, you can blow them all up. But Ezreal, you just don't see that because late game you see situations where he gets the perfect true shot off, and then the enemy health bars don't even change.
Yep. So I would like to see more damage. That's not just from Ezreal.
I like to also see them kind of expand their champion pool as well because it's been the same picks over and over for like the last 4 clashes now. And eventually they're gonna find out.
As an observer, I just want to see some variety,
Because your past clash games, crazy. Your past clash games gets displayed when you get scouted by an enemy. And they're gonna see them and be like, oh wow, these guys actually like played the same champion 12 games in a row. Like eventually the jig is up,
I think that, but then again, it's limited how many bans you can have because I feel like they're definitely banning out things like Andy Senna, the Zac, the Alawi. Like that's 3 bans right there.
Oh yeah, these guys at champion pool are deeper than I give them credit for. Except, like the jungler can play 4 or 5. Raymond can support with he's added Nautilus to his support pool now, so he's got Leona and Nautilus. And Andy has a really deep pool. Kevin and the top laner, I still forgot his name. I'm so sorry. They have really diverse
Half
top
killed by
pools
the
as well.
team.
Yeah, he has a really diverse top pool as well. Like, it's a very impressive top pool. The problem is they're just not flexing these muscles enough. Like, if they get their picks, they're gonna go for their picks, and more often than not, this could actually be like really bad because you can get baited into drafting these comps that actually turns out they just fall flat because it doesn't really work.
I want to see a damage dealing mid.
I want to see Andy go back to his old days and play Bane. Show me Andy's Bane. Show me something crazy.
Just because, like what Andy said, the mid laner is very support role. I want to see like the mid do damage and roam and like push lane.
In fairness, he did roam very well as the Galio.
Yeah, he has some nice teleport plays, but the problem is never with like how fast they rotate. Because in general, the team communicates pretty well.
They did a really, really good job ganking bot.
Right, like they have really nice collapses. This is definitely a team where they always have a way to find the perfect flank. They always have a way to take fights on their own terms. But when you can't afford to take those fights, that's when they run into trouble.
Yeah.
So as we're settling still into our next game, because they got stomped so fast, and the other game's still slugging it out in this 70-minute match. How's your day been, Mo?
My day has been okay. It's been pretty uneventful.
How's your day been, Mandy?
Good.
How's the quarantine treating you all?
I sometimes go to work. I sometimes work from home.
How does a residential doctor work from home? What does your task
I call my
entail?
patients over the phone.
Oh, I see. Have you ever had any calls where it's like, how are you feeling today? Are the medication working? And they're just like, no, we're dying.
You'd be surprised.
Do you mean it
Yes.
happens a lot?
Yes. Actually, most people, they just want to get it over with. They're just like, yeah, everything's okay. Everything's fine. I'm doing good. I'm like, all right, you do you. Sometimes I had one patient who was like, I have a rash. And I was like, well, I can't really do much about that over the phone. What's it look like? They were like, it's red. And I was like, well, that narrows it down.
You ever had a guy that just wants to get a call where he's like, I'm fine, and they sound like they're clearly having a stroke? Like they're starting to slur as they're getting on the phone with you?
Most people are okay. 90% of calls are, I have a cough, and I'm like, stay home for 2 weeks.
Now, as a residential doctor, what would you say the COVID-19 symptoms are? What do you look out for?
Folks, look out for fever, cough, and trouble breathing. That's about it. If that happens, just stay home. Unless you are old and sick, then go to the hospital.
That is certainly very sound medical advice that everybody should follow. But my follow-up question is entirely non-serious, which is, what if your symptom is you play League of Legends?
Then you have cancer, Logan. That's what you have.
Oh.
That's a lot worse than COVID.
So how do you cure that?
Uninstall League is step one.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you uninstall League, how will you cast games?
Oh, that's a good point. Didn't there used to be a way to
before Riot got their replay system up, there was a site that I think ran parallel to op.gg called replay.gg, and you could set it up in like a really funky way. I think like you registered on the site and then you name your last room page replay.gg, and that's what enables you to download replays and watch it. Now
back in the days of LCS, didn't they just have somebody who would AFK in Fountain as spectate?
Oh yeah, so this is back in this is pre-season 1. This is like ESL DreamHack stuff. This is 6v5 or a 6v6. One team has a Teemo and the other team has an Anivia. And what they do is they sit in the fountain all game, and they have 2 custom summoner spells that nobody else has. They have one summoner spell called Observer, and it just allows them to see all of the map. And they had another summoner spell. I forgot what its function is, but like they actually took 2 specific like game watching summoner
Caster
spells.
only.
Yeah, like caster only things, and they just sat in the fountain. And that's how people spectated games, or like presented games. And this is like DreamHack stuff. This was before Season 1 Worlds. I'm pretty sure by Season 1 Worlds, they've already stopped doing that. Because I remember watching Season 1 Worlds games. I was a level 14 summoner back then, grinding on solo queue, playing normals, getting to level 30, trying to figure out how to get enough IP to buy a room page, and this one random guy in chat is like, hey, who's watching Worlds? It's pretty fun. And that's how I realized League Esports existed. So thanks to that one summoner that I no longer remember.
Yikes.
Alright, they're in Champ Select, so we're moving.
Yeah, we're moving on. I also remember back in my pre-Summoner 30 days, all I played was Lux. So the first thing I did when I went to check out Season 1 Worlds is I went to look at the past games and I saw if anybody played Lux. And one guy on Team AAA, back then was called Against All Authority, one guy played the Lux in one game and they lost. But I was like, cool, somebody played Lux. So I actually watched that game, and that was the first pro game I watched. I watched somebody losing with Lux. Now we're gonna get back into Champ Select now, so they're gonna go ahead and draft. So this team, whichever team they're up against, just came off of like a 45 something minute game and lost. So their mental might be way worse than Team EZW. If you lose first, you have time to reset your mental. There's one thing that's pretty important that people overlook, but that's a real thing, like resetting your mental.
Absolutely.
Shake off your last loss.
A lot of these games.
Yeah. Feel the victory.
Has the mental.
Yeah. Feel the victory leaving your body. Shake off the loss. Accept that you're playing for scraps now, and just move on. But when you don't have as much time to do that, it can really bite you. Like it's something that people don't talk about, but it's a real thing. How to reset in time. But soon enough, they're going to get to the next game, and I'm going to predict nothing will change in the draft.
I'm hoping, like I said, a high damage mid.
I don't think it's happening. So, like I said, nothing will change in the draft. This is going to be essentially the salty run back. They're just going to play the exact same team again because this is what they're all used to playing. I bet dollars to donuts that they're gonna have Ezreal Leona bot lane, or Senna, or Nautilus.
I will bet real money on Ezreal Leona.
What if it's banned? Like that's the only thing I'm not betting on. Like it's for sure banned or picked. I'm willing to bet on the 100% PB. So I'm not sure if it made this through the draft, but if it did, oh boy, are they gonna take it? But bot lane support is gonna be Senna, Nautilus, Tom Kench, or Leona. There's no other possibility. It's gonna be these four.
Yep.
It's such a
which I'm
predictable.
fine with. I think tank heavy support like that is fine.
It is fine. Like usually in this season especially, and it's been true for a few years. Bot lane support is generally where you look to find more tankiness, especially since tank jungles are kind of going out of favor as the seasons drag on. Like it was just less than 2 years ago when Sejuani was super dominant in the jungle, where you just like first item Warmogs. Don't get me wrong, it's still really good, but we're definitely getting to a point where the game's meta is kind of shifting a little bit away from damagey junglers. shifting away from tanky junglers. They're leaning more towards damage in general.
And ever since like the nerf to like Arden sensor too.
Oh yeah, the sensor meta 4 years ago was it depends on who you ask. AD carries loved it, but
Yeah.
my problem with the Arden sensor meta was that I think it was promoting the wrong kind of playstyle. I didn't like it when almost every team was basically forced to like, hey, we'll play 4 Protect 1 and we'll all buy Arden Sensor. Because actually, the Sensor meta got really bad. I remember Double Lift was talking about one game he had with his support Zillion. And his support Zillion took Arden Sensor. He bought Arden Sensor. And then the typical reaction would be like, why would Zillion buy Arden Sensor? He can't shield, he can't heal. And the reasoning for that is because Sensor was so good, you just bought Sensor. And the way Zillion would apply the Sensor buff is he took Aerie, and whenever he speeds somebody up, Aerie would shield them. And that would apply Sensor.
I mean, he's not wrong.
But the game actually got to a point where Zillion was taking Arden Sensor because, hey, you have a way to apply shield, so we're gonna take Sensor because it's the best item in the game. And that's the part I really didn't like about the Sensor meta. I don't necessarily think it was like, the most unhealthy meta ever. It ruined the game. I do think Sensor was overtuned, but if it was in a more balanced spot, we might have had a really good meta for a while where AD carries could find a way to become relevant. But unfortunately, Sensor became the way it was, and it just took over the game.
It did take over the game.
The other thing that was like helping the Sensor meta that people don't complain nearly as much about is the fact that Locket back in 6.2 was also insanely good. And in fact, I think they nerfed Locket before they nerfed Sensor, just because it was giving way too much protection. Locket's shield back then was just a flat amount and it scaled his AP. So Enchanter supports, because they naturally slotted into Sensor, also built Locket. And you just press the Locket and everybody gets like a 500 health shield. So the first thing they did was like actually change that out. So Locket gave your shield based on how much health you had. And that essentially killed the Enchanter Locket route.
Yeah, remember when that one season it was all Janna and Lulu?
Oh yeah. And actually, Janna has since been nerfed quite a bit as well. Janna shield actually wears off now over time. It lasts for 0.75 seconds and then the shield actually decays.
Really? I didn't know that. And you not play Janna all the time.
That's essentially why Janna got killed. Because back then, everybody played Janna.
Yeah, Janna was broken.
Yeah. Alright, let's get into the spectate. Oh my god! Ezreal Leona!
Oh, shit.
Oh, but look at that!
look.
Veigar mid!
Yes.
They're doing the damage!
There's
Yes.
damage.
Top. Also, interestingly, top lane Nasus.
Interesting. Never seen him pull out the Nasus.
I will say
This is fun.
I will say I kind of dislike the Nasus pick here. I feel like he just doesn't do that much.
Either Nasus pops off or he just farms until you never see him.
It is a direct counter against the Kog'Maw Yuumi because you can stop Zoomies from speeding out the Kog'Maw away. So at least that's good. But right now they finally drafted some damage. So this is interesting because I don't think I've ever seen this team in particular play a high damaging team comp. Ever. They might have done it once in the past and I just forgot, but I can't actually recall a moment when they actually did. You could correct me if you remember one.
I haven't watched too many of their Clash games. But I'm looking for... Is it Maokai or Set Jungle? It's Set Jungle, right? Maokai top?
I don't think it's Set Jungle. If it's Set Jungle, then Nasus might have a ticket out of lane. Because Maokai is so weak in the laning phase that you can't really threaten the Nasus. Nasus has the natural sustain to match the Maokai here. So this is actually pretty interesting because we're gonna have Corki mid. We're gonna have Yuumi in this game. So Yuumi is one of those picks that I love talking about and people love to go up against. And by love, I mean hate. She's one of those supports that really shouldn't exist in League of Legends. Maybe it's fine in another MOBA, and she does exist in like every other MOBA. But League is not a game where it fits a champion like Yuumi. Her playstyle is just so incredibly detrimental to what a healthy game should look like. And League doesn't really have the tools to stop a champion like Yuumi from being overpowering. Because ever since Yuumi came out, she's just been nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and then nerfed, but then they called it a buff. Like, what do you... Like, it's so hard to actually stop this champion when she gets going. And it's been a huge problem for so many people. She's one of those champions that just protects people for free. And I take issue with that, so do a lot of other people. They just think so much free protection shouldn't be afforded.
What happened to my League client?
League client happened to...
Oh, it's loading. It's loading.
Alright.
Loading.
Oh, well, Hextech Kog'Maw skin. Somebody spent 10 gemstones on that. Not as cute as Kog'Maw, but I guess it does the job. Remember Earthrider Quirky?
No.
That was a skin and a half. I remember back in the day, people were losing their minds over that skin because, oh my god, when he crit, Earth throws a spatula instead. And little do they know, Quirky will be reworked so much that he doesn't even build crit nowadays.
But keep in mind, back then, you know, Red Beard Quirky was the standard for a legendary skin.
I think Firefighter Triss looked good for 1820, but like think of the legendary skins back in the day. Firefighter Trist, Astronaut Teemo, Gentleman Cho'Gath. Like think like the first like legendary skin that I could remember was Brolaf. It got its own teaser. Like they actually recorded a really cringy skit to announce the skin. I think Riot still has it on their channel. It's like 10 years old now, and it's just like this guy walking into Riot HQ calling everybody bro. It's one of the most bizarre skits ever, and it was like a promotion for Brolaf. And Brolaf came out, and he's just aesthetically totally different. He has different voice lines. I think that skin really kind of kickstarted the standard of actually good legendaries. And then they made an ultimate skin.
What was the first one? Ezreal.
Ezreal. Pulsefire Ezreal. Alright, once again, we're back to the Freljord Clash. I got another Discord.
Sorry, my champ select is still...
Yeah, you found it. Brolaf, the king of Bro Machia. You found the skit. God, I was trying to erase it from my mind, and I brought it up again. You know what I should do?
And we're in.
I should turn on streamer mode for Discord. Because I keep getting Discord pings from other friends during my cast. So like people are DMing me. And then the ping actually gets into the recording noise. And it's really annoying. Oh, the early invade here from red team is going to get stopped. Earth Rider Quirky spots them out. They're going to find a Maokai. Maokai is going to have to flash. And he's out of there.
I'm not sure that flash was necessary.
I think he would have been fine if he just walked, but I didn't think...
Yeah.
I thought he didn't want to risk it, because he saw Veigar, and he might have assumed Veigar started a cage or something.
That's true. That's true.
I do think it's better to lean on the side of caution. Definitely better safe than sorry. And red team leaves behind a deep ward, and Ezreal's camping in the pixel brush, so you know what that means. It's gonna be Grand Theft red buff.
Baby. We're in for a treat.
Yep, but Nasa's gonna get punched out by the Set in the meantime. He's walking up and Set's just following him. He wants to get another punch off. And here comes the Ezreal. Mystic shot! No! It didn't get it. Disaster. Might as well just surrender now. He definitely fired a Mystic shot a little bit too late there. But luckily, he's not actually late coming back to lane. But the Kog'Maw's gonna spit at him and drive him back. Yuumi is interesting. Like, she can definitely keep people alive, but not as good as people think. She's definitely not an emergency medic. If you wanna support that's just built to keep people alive, Soraka does a way better job of it. Yuumi is more of the I can heal you, but also make you hurt more.
That's true, but keep in mind, Soraka's a lot more.
Oh yeah, she's the classic run at you support, and she's honestly best paired with assassins or just people who can really go in. And in that respect, I don't actually like the Kog'Maw pairing. I feel like it's a little bit awkward. Because if you needed a dedicated Kog'Maw healer, just pick like a Nami or pick a Soraka. That would be better here. And the cleanse does go out from the Kog'Maw. The ignite's gonna land on him. Ezreal's gonna flash forward. Yuumi attaches back into him for the AV shield, but the long distance and is played. Leona finds the first blood. Now she has to try to run away. The Kog'Maw explosion kills her off, but it's just a minor consolation here. That was a really bad opener by the Kog'Maw. He did pick up some CS. He is ahead of the Ezreal in that regard. And critically, the kill didn't actually go to Ezreal. So he's not as screwed as it might appear, but getting killed that early means he's behind in EXP. And honestly, that's a lot worse. Now top lane Seth's gonna be ganked out here by the Zac. And the punch goes on the Nasus! Oh, the heal!
No, he does not have.
Nasus pops his summoner heal to keep himself alive, and the siphoning strike kills him off. The Corki is gonna get locked in the cage, but here comes the Maokai. Flash over the wall, secures the Veigar's life. That was a very hairy turnaround. Veigar could have very easily died. Maokai didn't actually, because he blew Flash level 1, he doesn't actually have the power to press the trigger, go for the kill switch. But if you lock the Veigar down there, I'm pretty sure he was dead, and now Veigar getting bullied out in lane a little bit by the Corki. So much damage landing for very little counter damage. But it is Veigar. All he had to do is stack himself up, get a lot of farm. It's up to the Corki to decide how much farm he actually gets to have. And I'll set punching the Nasus back, the Haymaker damage coming out hard.
Yeah, despite the early kill, this set is still naturally just dumpstering the Nasus.
Yeah. Ezreal's just trying to farm it now. He's ahead of CS by the Kog'Maw quite a bit. And Kog'Maw, after first iteming Doran's Shield, actually went back and picked up a call with the blood money he got from killing Leona. That's a pretty greedy buy. Like in this circumstance. Because there's no guarantee that Kog'Maw can actually survive against Ezreal Leona. So buying the call, just intending to farm up, might actually bite him if he doesn't have the tools to come back. And the Zac gonna wind up for a long distance gank. Here he comes. Elastic slingshot. Is gonna try to find the mark. Flash forward, punching the Kog'Maw back. Instant TP coming down from the Corki. But the Kog'Maw might be dead by the time he can arrive. Ezreal gets killed off by the Yuumi in return. And the Kog'Maw has returned. Now the Kog'Maw, the Corki is here, dealing some damage. He finds one onto Leona. 2 for 1 overall. But once again, both AD carries drop dead. The gold is actually completely even. Score, the Nasus says. He withers the set up. Nasus does have the tools to stop a Kog'Maw. Yumi's greatest nightmare isn't actually lockdown, it's slows. Because it's a 2 for 1 package every time, and Wither is one of the strongest slows in the game. I don't want to say the best one, solo kill, but you know, to be expected from a set. I don't want to say that Yuumi has the, not Yuumi, Wither is the best slowing tool in the game. I think Zillion is a little bit better in that regard. But Yuumi is definitely very afraid of being slowed down. That's worse than just getting rooted or something. Once you're slowed down, Zoomies just isn't nearly as effective. And then you're in trouble when you can't run away. So now we're gonna come back to this game, and Maokai gonna position near Dragon, but they're not gonna start it. Maokai is gonna face up against the Zac in the river. There's a pink word war. Zac is gonna recall, so Maokai wins the war by default. Set's gonna farm up top lane, and then Nasus gonna stack some more. So the part time for 150 stacks is actually 10 minutes. Let's check his stacks. 69. Not quite up there yet. The Set is actually pushing quite a lot of pressure onto this Nasus. He's 2 levels on the Nasus too. Nasus is not even level 6. So he has to be really careful here. The Wither, he's trying to hit 6. He does hit 6, but the Showstopper comes in. He's going to hold his ultimate until after that. He's going to try to browse the Set. The cone gets dodged out. This might be the Set's end. He does get solo killed by the Nasus.
Very nice. Very nice.
I will say that was actually a really heads-up play by the Nasus. It's a little bit unnoticed, or he just didn't get it off in time and he's panicking. But he held his ult until he got ulted by Set. Set's ultimate deals more damage the more bonus health you have. So he doesn't actually ult first. He waits for the Showstopper to finish to minimize the bonus health damage. Which is pretty a heads-up play from him, and he actually pops his ultimate then, gets a ton more HP to duel him. But Set's gonna come back, and he's gonna first item Blade of the Ruined King, which is admittedly the right item against Nasus, who's stacking a lot of health. Or at least just gets a lot of health by ulting. I'm not sure if it's the best pick on Set.
It is a strange pick. It's a little too damage focused, you know? It's not the kind of bruiser item you expect, I guess.
I will say that with the recent buffs to Blade of the Ruined King, it's gotten strong enough that any sort of melee juggernaut actually can consider it. Like, Garen can definitely actually buy Blade of the Ruined King. It's not a problem for him.
Garen benefits a lot from attack speed, though. Yeah. A lot more than other juggernauts.
Set also kind of scales with attack speed because his right punch scales with it 8 times more effectively.
Whoa, I just saw this mid lane CS difference. Sorry, I was in a game before. So. But man, this Corki's really bullying the Veigar.
Yeah, Veigar really has a hard time in lane. His lockdown's really not that effective for the most part, and Corki's really effective at zoning out.
He does, but Veigar has decent farming tools in lane.
He does, but the problem is
pretty long range.
Veigar runs into the same problem as Nasus, and it's ironic that we get both of them on the same team. But wait, hold that thought. Leona's gonna get ganked here by the Maokai. The Zac is coming in for the rotate. Leona's trying to buy time with his Endless Blade, but the Ignite's taking down on her. The cleanse coming in a little bit too late. Purging absolutely no CC. Corki gets locked up in a cage. He's gonna flash into the edge of the horizon, and the stun chain's coming down. Kagwa blows up on the Leona. One more hit will do it. The flash auto from Veigar not gonna finish it. Veigar will make it out with a fraction of his life. The Zac blobs will reform. He will just form and barely not die.
Oh, what a neck and neck fight. Oh.
So my problem with Veigar is the same as Nasus, and it's ironic that we get both of them in the same game. Is that the thing you max, which is the thing that you're supposed to be using to trade against your opponents, is something that you don't want to use on your opponents.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And that by having that virtue in your kit by default just makes you lose trades. And here comes the Nasus top lane against the Set. He pauses ultimate, basically negates all the trading damage, and then kind of wins the trade in response. My problem with Nasus and Veigar and these kind of stacking champions is you wanna max Q because that's the thing that helps you stack. But because you're maxing Q to stack, you're not throwing that on the enemy laner. And if you're not throwing that on the enemy laner, you're fighting him with essentially rank 1 abilities. And you lose that every time. Which is why there's an alternate variant of the Nasus build that doesn't max Q at all. You max E to actually help you stay in lane, because otherwise you're not a presence in lane. And that version of the Nasus build kind of forgoes stacking just to be more relevant in the mid game. But Veigar doesn't really have the same tool. Like E max Veigar is kind of unheard of, and W is way too unreliable. Veigar is kind of pigeonholed in a position where, yeah, you max Q because that's your best damaging tool, and then you just proceed to not use your damaging tool in trades. And when you're sitting against Corki, who can basically force the issue on you whenever he wants, it's a really lopsided lane. Now top lane, we're gonna have Nasus farming up again. He's a little bit behind the Set in terms of CS. Actually, most people on red team, except for the bot lane, is kind of suffering in the CS department. Veigar in particular, not having the best game of his life here. He does have the last chapter to help him recoup some mana, and his stopwatch almost ready too. But top lane, it's just a pretty exciting brawl here. But the Nasus, he's actually running low on mana. He pops his ultimate, but can he trade against the Set? I think the answer is no. There's no showstopper. It just came up. Set might commit for this kill if the Nasus stays any longer. He will back off at the last possible second. That might have been a solo kill if the Nasus overstays. He's not recalling yet, actually. Nasus might be in trouble here. Red team secures the Mountain Drake. The next Drake will be Infernal. Nasus gonna grab a few more stacks and then head home. So they're definitely drafting a more damagey comp this time around, but I guess their alternate problem they're running into is their comp is way too late. It takes them a really long time to get online. The True Shot Barrage just completely whiffs, by the way, and Zac tanks one too many tower shots and gets killed off. Quirky, for the third time, goes to bot lane and finds a kill for himself. And now the Yuumi is attached to the helicopter man, but the cage is going to dissuade him from chasing in. The tendrils from Maokai are coming in. Ezreal's going to get rooted up. He has to try to walk away, but the Quirky damage is here. One more auto will finish him off. Killing spree for the Quirky. And the prowling projectile from Yuumi slowing down the Vigar. The blast cone! He doesn't bounce! And double kill to the Quirky. So contrary to people's expectations, I wouldn't mark Nasus as a late game threat. Nasus takes off around the mid game. When you have 500, 600 stacks, that's when you're the most strong. When you get to late game,
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, when you get to late game, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 stacks or something, because by late game, your kit just doesn't allow you to get close anymore. But Vigar is definitely the be-all and end-all answer to like a mid lane mage. He just gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on, and he has one trait that I don't think any other mid lane mage can, is that a Vigar late game can slot into being a tank and still work, because he just gets so much AP from his kit. Like, he can gradually deviate away from the standard AP build. But hold that thought, the Kog'Maw's gonna get ganked here. Cleanse will get him out of the Solar Flare, and the Yuumi Zoomies gets him out of there lightning fast. And Kog'Maw is just fine, but he loses his cleanse. That's what I mean, man. Like, the Yuumi Summoner heal on top of Zoomies just gives you such a high burst movement speed. Oh, but here comes the Quirky. The trade is coming down. One more Q will do it. He does get it. Shot down onto the Quirky. So now, we're gonna return to this part of the game. So Kog'Maw no longer has a cleanse. The next Leona Solar Flare will almost definitely kill him. But oh my god, that W damage being returned. He hits like a truck with just Blade of the Ruined King. And Call almost done. It's gonna give him another injection of income. And Zac finding 2 words in the Tri-Brush. Buffing his vision score. Oh, he doesn't kill the second one. He's gonna drop a pink core for it. And Maokai is gonna grab away his third set of buffs now. Actually, it's 15 minutes. Doesn't feel like 15 minutes. Time is flying. Blue team does lose their turret to the Set. Now, this might actually be good news for Nasus. It means he just gets to farm more, because now minions, he has a lot more lane to play the minions with. And the Set probably not gonna commit to staying with the Nasus full time. This is the period in the game where Nasus just kind of forgets that the rest of his team exists and kind of farm up. But in the meantime, he's got a Set to kill. And the Triforce brings down the Set 5-1 and 0. This Nasus is huge. And the lockdown onto the Quirky. He's tied up in a cage. But the Bramble Smash from Maokai returning the favor. 1-for-1 is a jungler brawl. But Maokai is clearly starting this fight out disadvantage. He's losing outright. Double kill to the Zac. 3-for-1 overall across the map. Red team finds advantage. And they're gonna win it here. The other problem for Red Team late game is that they actually get outscaled late game. Quirky's late game is terrifying. Like, very rarely do.
Wait. We're talking about a Veigar here.
We are talking about a Veigar here.
Are you sure that Quirky outscales Veigar?
Oh, no. I don't mean Quirky, but I mean Kog'Maw. I mean Yuumi.
Oh, Kog'Maw. Oh, yeah, sorry.
And Quirky himself. It's not like
Kog'Maw's.
Like, my point is, like, it's not like Quirky falls off. Meanwhile, the Set just cleans house. Oh my god. It's not like Quirky falls off or anything. It's just that Quirky's late game is terrifying. It's probably not as strong as Vigar, but he's definitely up there as one of the premier late game carries. He's one of the few auto attack based carries that actually does magic damage. In fact, I think he's the only one. And that kind of damage is almost impossible to properly itemize against. Very rarely do you see a Corki.
Very good.
Yeah, very rarely do you get to see a Corki hit a Corki. Cocky. You get to see a Corki hit 4 or 5 items. Most games end when he gets 3. And when he gets later and later, he just gets more and more scary. And Kog'Maw also not a slacker by any means. And Set outscales Nasus, and I will fight anybody on that.
Interesting.
I will say Set scaling is superior.
I think people overestimate Nasus late game because he just gets kind of kited. It's the mid game where he has 400 or 500 stacks.
Nasus is incredibly prone to lockdown.
Right now, actually.
Yeah.
Right now, actually, is where Nasus is the scariest.
This is where he's starting to kind of feel it. Oh no, the Kog'Maw walks up a little bit too far. He has to try to cleanse out of this one. He's not going to try to, he's going to stand his ground. There's no lockdown coming down. Blue team secures the dragon, they get a kill. So Set gets a triple, which we didn't even talk about. He just kind of teleported the bot and clean house. But Set is actually one of those characters that the later the game gets, he actually gets so tanky on top of his very impressive base damage that just never falls off. And when Nasus, especially a ninja Tabai building Nasus, hits the late game, he doesn't actually do that much. He's one of those interesting champions where he's really weak early. He's... Hold on, oh that's not Corki gonna get jumped, instantly nuked down. Yuumi not there to protect them, but here comes the showstopper. Leona gets slammed to the side, she's gonna be the sacrificial lamb. But the Corki! Oh, not the Corki, the Kog'Maw. The name supposed to start with a K sound. He walks up a little bit too far and gets nuked. No cleanse to save himself. Let it bounce. Gonna keep the Set locked up in place. But the Set still holding on to a full grid bar. Does he have the Haymaker? He does. But he's surrounded from all sides. The Yuumi trying to keep him alive. And she's gonna jump to her next vessel. Maokai's gonna try to get out of there. 3 for 1. Favorable team fight for Red.
The Veigar deletion was key there.
Yeah, the deleting Corki and Kog'Maw was the Veigar definitely MVP in that fight. And now the Corki gonna teleport back to lane. I feel like every teleport has been used on bottom lane for this guy so far. The winding up slingshot, he's gonna go for it. He jumps the Corki, but the backline is being tied up by a tree. And now Exhaust, not Exhaust, Wither, stronger than Exhaust, gonna come down. Actual Exhaust comes down as well. The Corki just has to try to run, but the angry dog is chasing after him. There's gonna be a kill. The cat is stranded. One more stack, plus 12 to the Nasus. So incredibly scary now. Oh no, the Kog'Maw wanders up a little bit too far, eats so much chunk, loses half his life. This game just...
Veigar doesn't have ult.
This game just suddenly went really bad for blue team. They just they lost a critical fight, got salty, ran it back to bot, and then lost it again in very quick succession. Oh, but here might be the turnaround, the cleanse from the Veigar. It cleansed from Kog'Maw. Veigar not expecting it, gets killed off here. Now the Leona here tying up the Kog'Maw, but can she beat him? She cannot. The lockdown not there, but the stun is. Kog'Maw has to try to run away. Xander's play lockdown. Blue smite from Zac secures it. Good catch out on the AD carry, and that's gonna be Kog'Maw once again down and out. 7 deaths for an AD carry is unacceptable no matter how late the game goes. But like I kind of said, Nasus has a really interesting power curve. Really weak early, really strong mid, really weak late game. And then when the game gets to like...
How is it really weak?
Like pretty weak late game. And then when the game gets to really late game, he gets strong again.
Just Nasus in the late game is still an power monster, right?
Yeah, but the problem
he gets defeated in fights, but he can just completely mow down the side lane.
So here's the thing with Nasus. Late game he gets kited. So in late game when team fights and game deciding 5v5s are happening, he can't really shine in that circumstance late game when everybody is either full build or decently close to full build. But then you put the game to like the very late game when team fights get so risky, no one's trying it. He can create a lot of pressure by himself. That is where his strong suit is. But there's definitely a period of time between now and between like 80 minutes into the game where he's kind of just sitting there and he gets pretty easily neutralized, especially a variant of Nasus that's not building Merc Treads. So CC is extra effective on him. There's not too much really strong CC, like face breakers or really tiny stun to begin with. Twisted Advance is also really short, it just brings the Maokai to you is the problem. Like the hardest CC in terms of duration they got is probably just Maokai Ultimate. So building the Tabai here actually wards off a little bit of the magic damage from Quirky as well, because Tabai reduces auto attack damage taken and Quirky's auto attacks do magic damage. Which is a really strong passive, by the way. Like, people don't really appreciate the Foley. Oh my god, the Nasus Q, but he's gonna get rooted up. He's gonna be ignited. He tries to Q for some life steal, but he's on fire, so he can't heal. The roots will kill him off, and they're gonna start this team fight. Without the Nasus, Yumi gets locked up by the cage. She's gonna be killed off. No more medic is possible. The Zac jumps into the backline, trying to tie down the carries. He's gonna find some. The Leona joins the backline as well, but she eats the haymaker damage. The Ezreal suddenly all alone. There's no tanks left for him. The Quirky's gonna flash forward and take this kill. Maokai gets shot by the Ezreal on the way out, but both carries on blue team stays alive, and they clean up almost everybody. A beautiful fight for blue team. They find the pick off early, and they take that into a winning team fight. And now they get rewarded with Cloud Drake.
That was a really nice Maokai and set engage.
Yeah, Kog'Maw has to be careful here. He might get nuked by the Veigar. His cleanse is almost up. It is up now, but it's not going to be enough. The dog has charged into the fray. And now the very angry caterpillar trying to explode on the Veigar. Not going to find it. Veigar will just walk away. Interestingly, the Glacial Augment Veigar has opted to skip Twin Shadows. I do think Xayah's is a little bit more important than Twin Shadows, but not having Twin Shadows also means that he loses quite a bit of his catch potential. GLP, as amazing as an item it is, with Augment, is not too good when you're doing long-range catches. And I feel like a long-range catch is the perfect complement to the red team's catch potential as well, because they have so much long-distance lockdown that a Twin Shadow will go a long way in serving that. And now they're just gonna straight up start Baron. Set is shown bottom lane. He doesn't have teleport. He can't get up here. Quirky does have teleport, but he's not going to make it here either. This is a completely uncontested Baron. Blue team's just going to let it go. Zac secures the Baron Nashor. Quirky is going to package away here. So that's the package down. He uses it purely to disengage. And now red team, they grab Baron Nashor, but instead of resetting, they're trying to force something here. The Solar Flare lands on the Kog'Maw. He cleanses off almost immediately. The Maokai is going to be tied up by the Nasus. He's taking so much damage. Just gets nuked down instantly. The Kog'Maw's free hitting in the back, but not for long. Leona jumps on his face. There's no more cleanse. The CC is right there, and the Yumi attaches out from him. Jumps onto the Quirky instead. Ezreal grabs a double kill. The carry is down. It's just Quirky remaining. And now the push is coming down strong. Nasus will rip towers apart with his damage. This tower is just instantly deleted. Quirky will try to Valkyrie away. He'll be fine for now, but the inhibitor is not. Red team claims an inhibitor. He gets locked up in the cage, and the set respawns. Not gonna return in time. Zac just walks away. He was charging up Slingshot for a split second, but decides against it. Let's check the Nasus' stacks. But before I click on him, how many stacks do you think he has?
650.
519.
No way.
Pretty good for 26 minutes in. He's definitely stacking up a Storm. He's picked up Death Dance as well. Which, by the way, really amazing booster item after this change to give you armor and MR as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kog'Maw gonna take red buff for himself here. But this game is turning south for blue team really quickly here. 6 hours to 2, they lost an inhib. Red team still has Baron. And they're gonna start a push
the
up top.
difference is huge. They still haven't even broken mid outer.
Yeah.
While their inhib is down.
So critically, the other thing I haven't really talked about, Nasus has Spellbook. and it's actually been paying off quite a bit. I didn't really comment on it because there wasn't any time to comment on it, but his Summoner Spellbook actually came in clutch so many times. He got that very early heal to win the trade and get the first kill onto Set in lane. And then later on, there was an instance where he dove the Kog'Maw, swapped to Exhaust, and actually exhausted him. And now, sitting on Flash Barrier, both of them up, he can just flash onto the AD carry and kill him. There's very little that the Kog'Maw can do to stop it. Blue team needs to run Protect on the puppy, but they don't really have the tools to protect him. Set can slam the nearest threat away, but they have so much dive that it's really hard for Kog'Maw to stay safe. If your Kog'Maw sitting in the cage with no cleanse up, he's dead to rights. It's really a beautiful draft here from red team. They not only brought the damage, but they also brought essentially the same amount of CC. Event Horizon is such a strong ability, it might as well be an ultimate.
Absolutely insane ability.
We're gonna have a red team clearing out some wards. They're gonna try to get the Cloud Drake here. Set. Oh, he's trying for a fight against the Nasus. Can he win it here? Quirky has arrived as well. Nasus does have barrier up. Is he gonna pop it here? He's still fighting the Set. Set true damage. Haymaker, there's so much damage coming down. But that's 2 people top lane, so there's 3 people down here. Maokai trying to secure the Drake. He does get it! But it might come at the cost of his life. Meanwhile, Nasus still being chased by the Quirky. Summoner Spellbook, he swapped to Ghost. Can he get himself out here? He's so low! And the Gatling gun finishes him off. Quirky picks up that 1 kill. That was a really sloppy sequence of events from red team. Not only do they lose the Drake, but the Nasus also gets caught out top lane and killed. They do have a very brief moment when the Quirky is out of position, but that has fleeted as well because he is in his bot. He is already at bot lane defending. He has the package in his hands as well. Red team has to call this off. They have to wait for another day. 4,000 gold ahead now. They still have the gold lead, but they're the ones against Soul Point. It's 3 Drakes to 1, true. Not in the way that you're expecting.
I do want to point out, look at the ridiculous vision that red team has on Baron. They're ready for it.
Yeah.
4 pink wards.
45 seconds. Red. They have 3 more pink wards sitting in their inventory.
Zac has just have complete vision control, but it looks like blue team might be able to clear it out, or at least some of it out.
Yep, so that's gonna run in. The clean out effort has started. The Zac never recalled, so critically Zac doesn't get his reset. And it matters because he doesn't have more pinks in his inventory. This is the time in the game where you really need to have pink wards sitting at the ready. He doesn't seem to have it. Set's gonna run side by side along with the Leona for now. Showstopper slams the Leona back, but that's gonna be Set ultimate down, and the damage commit comes down. Ezreal has to flash away. The Zac gets locked up, and the Leona is here to join the fight. The dog lands the winner on the tree, and now the Leona is in the back line. Solar Flare onto 4, but only gets 1 stun. Quirky's in the back. He gets killed off by the Ezreal. And now the fight breaks out. The Set is gonna die next. 3 dead for nothing so far. The Maokai is the next victim, and the cat cannot solo mission. Full ace. This is gonna be an end down mid. Well, that's the game.
That is the game.
I do want to go back and reanalyze that last team fight. So while this game ends, I'm gonna turn on the timeline and rewind. I invite you to join me on this analysis.
What time are we?
I am streaming on Discord, so you can just tune into that.
Oh, that's true.
So we have here this team fight being started. So Ezreal's gonna start this fight by getting super chunked out. So he's gonna flash away. Quirky flashes forward. So that's really important because now this Quirky is now a summoner. Yumi's still attached to him. And these tree branches not really gonna find anyone. In fact, Leona and Nasus are actually behind the trees. So this lockdown here, at best, finds the Zac. So Zac might not let this play out. He's been rooted up by final chapter. True Shot Barak has turned, but right now the problem is Ezreal's super low. Like with that amount of health, it might be difficult for him to join the fight. So then this fight kind of starts turning when Nasus and Leona both arrive. The Wither goes onto the Maokai. Leona Zenith's Blade in. She locks down the Kog'Maw, so that's pretty critical. That's going to be Kog'Maw down. So Yuumi sees that, and she goes, oh crap, detach. So the cat's making her way back to the Caterpillar. And now Solar Flare. It crashes on the 4 people. It only gets 1 stun. But it doesn't matter, because in this moment, there's a dissonance here in blue team. Because you have Corki trying to re-engage on the side. He was running down this way and then realized, oh wait, the fight's happening. I should turn around. So he turns around. And he's trying to make this happen. But at the same time, Kog'Maw is trying to get out of the Solar Flare. So now he's running back. There's sunlight on him. He can't really turn around. The cage locks down all the front line. So now the front line can't actually get to the Corki. There's a giant stun cage in their way. So they realize, oh wait, Corki's alone. Yuumi detached. There's actually nobody protecting him. He's dishing out damage, but not for long. And Kog'Maw at the same time repositions. But the Kog'Maw is hitting a different target. And the Corki is hitting another guy. And Corki is actually so far overextended at the moment, where the entirety of red team just kind of looks at him going, what's he doing? And just instantly jumps him, kills him off. And in the meantime, Zac actually provides enough lockdown on the back line. That's going to drag the Caterpillar back. And the Kog'Maw's going to die. So at this point, blue team just totally ran out of damage. And there's just no hope for them. So this is just going to be a full ace. They can't even kill anybody. And that's going to lead to the end of the game. So that was a very interesting team fight that kind of ended the game there. But we're going to go back and check the damage charts. The Yuumi outdamaged the Maokai. Well, to be expected, it's Yuumi, but the Maokai actually didn't do that much this game, huh?
I mean, he's there for lockdown, not damage.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But for a champion with the percent max health damage and his kid, I mean, yeah, I expect him to at least like way outstrip Leona. What's actually really surprising to me, perhaps not so much in hindsight, but just because Corki was winning lane so bad, is because Veigar did no damage. Veigar's damage is pretty pitiful in this game, just because in lane he was kind of suffering a lot.
Sometimes you have to, in those kind of situations, you have to look at how much damage they do in the last few fights.
Yeah,
because over the early game he didn't do anything, but he was crucial in the end.
Yeah, it's not an easy metric to track, for sure, but definitely it's reflective of how terrifyingly bad that early laning phase was, because Corki was just calling the shots in that lane. But doesn't really matter when at the end of the day you lose the game. Nasus definitely showed up huge, and Ezra is always highest on the damage charts because he's one of those champions that just kind of racks up free damage as a stat. So with this game out of the way, we're gonna head into the 5th, 6th place match. And one thing I will say...
And one step closer.
Yeah, one step closer to Pajama Guardian Urgot. One thing I will say is that I don't think EZW has ever placed 6th. I don't think they've ever had the lose-win-lose happen to them. They've placed things like... They placed last. Like, no, wait, they never placed last. They placed like 7th twice. They placed 1st, they placed 2nd, they've placed 5th, they placed 4th.
They're clearly a momentum-based team, you know? They're going to win the next one because they're coming up.
I don't think they ever placed 3rd or 6th. I can't remember an instance when they did. So this might be a first. Maybe their final opponent is a little bit too much for them, and they placed 6th for the first time in the team's history. But going to the next game, I think this game, they definitely found a winning formula. In that sometimes you need some damage. I mean, the mid game here was almost entirely carried by Nasus.
I think most of the game was carried by Nasus.
Yeah. So now that we're kind of getting to a stage where they're actually in draft for their last game, because I think whoever lost before them, well, won before them, won faster. So now it's up to them to kind of reset and kind of close it out with a 5th place, which is a pretty bittersweet placement because, you know, you kind of think if we didn't lose that first game. But like my mom always used to tell me, competition is all about luck because you can finish 8th, and you can finish 1st. And it's just a roll of the die.
Wise words from Mama Ruan.
Now, don't reveal my last name on stream. That's okay. Nobody can pronounce it.
It's not Ruan.
No, that's not correct. Sorry to dash your hopes and dreams. Nobody outside of China can pronounce it.
It's okay. No one. The bots will find you.
You have to be like Chinese or Vietnamese to get my last name correct. Not just any Chinese, mainland Chinese. If you speak Cantonese, you probably can't get it right.
Alright, we can say your name in Chinese.
I refuse. Not on camera.
What? You can't.
Not on recording. I refuse to.
What's gonna happen? The Chinese government will find you?
No, it's not out of like identity protection or anything. I just don't want to record myself saying my own name. So going to draft, Ezra Leona again, running back. So from a spectator's point perspective, I think I've casted over 100 games now. My playlist is getting pretty big. But I also think the past 40 games has been me casting an Ezreal in a row. And I'm getting really sick of Ezreal. Just for the sake of variety. Actually, no. I'm getting really sick of Senna and Ezreal. If it's not Ezreal, it's
I'm
Senna.
getting really sick of Ezreal Leona.
If I'm not casting an Ezreal, I'm casting a Senna. It's been that way for like the past 40 games. I've never seen bot lane not have an Ezreal or a Senna. And just for my own mental sanity, I want to cast a game without those two. Just
You hear
once.
that, Andy? Stop playing Ezreal Senna.
Just once. Just give me someone else. Like, give me like a Jinx or something. Then I have something to talk about. Like, what do you even talk about with Senna anymore? Like, the first cast was like, oh yeah, Senna got nerfed in 10.7. Her souls aren't effective anymore, so fasting Senna's a little bit harder. And then by the 40th game, we're just like, hell, it's Senna again. Can't wait for 10.8 when there's more nerfs. And yes, 10.8, there's more nerfs for Senna. I was like, just for my sake, play someone else. But then again, like I always said, winning is fun.
But does he always win with Ezreal?
More often than not, Ezreal wins. I think he's definitely enjoyed a decently high win rate with Ezreal. I mean, it makes sense. I think he's definitely one of the strongest carries in the game right now, alongside picks like MF and, you know, Senna. It's definitely, I put him as tier 1 carry. The problem is right now there's only like, what, 4 tier 1 AD carries in the game? And the last one is barely a tier 1. Just because Senna, MF, and Ezreal are so good. That's what my goal is. My goal is to make Nico ADC tier 1. Alright, in the last game. Oh, look at that! Ezreal! But it's not Leona.
What? Impossible.
Well, that that clearly means Leona's banned. Like there's no other solution. There's no other explanation. Leona's banned. So now that we're staring down at this game, Jesus Christ, we're gonna have an Ezreal. Oh boy, I love seeing Ezreal's in my games. He's not boring at all to watch. Speaking of boring AD carries, he's against a Caitlyn. Caitlyn Morg, it looks like. The OG terrifying lane combo, because you get binded and then trapped, and then your health bar goes away.
Oh, for the AFK snare.
And you can see the blue team is running the good old PTSD strat, because they're running a Kled. Kled's matchup this game is against Alawi, which is so much more unfavorable compared to a Fiora. Alawi is one of those picks where if you're melee, you have no hope. You just lose. Doesn't even matter what you do, you just lose.
He's the world's best Alawi. We're gonna see it.
Yeah, we're gonna get to see the infamous rank 20 in the world Alawi, or rank 6 in NA, depending on which one you want to look at. We're gonna see the Alawi show here. But here's what I don't like about Alawi. I hate her kit. It's so toxic to play against. I ban Alawi more than I ban Darius. I just don't like to play against her. For the most part, you don't have to worry about running into an Alawi player. But once in the blue moon, you just see an Alawi gets insta-locked and you're like, ah, crap. If you just describe Alawi's kit to someone, you can make it sound so broken. And
I think you can make any kit sound broken by describing it the right way.
oh yeah, but you don't even have to exaggerate to make it sound broken. Like, here's a champion that deals 130% damage to you. 30% of it is true damage. Also, for some reason, my OBS wasn't recording the game until just now. That kinda sucks.
Oh no.
I lost 9.5 minutes of footage. Aww. That really
Alright,
sucks.
for those of you joining us now, wait, did it catch your I hate Ezreal rant?
The first half
so.
of it?
Okay, for those of you joining, this is Logan's 41st game casting.
Oh no,
And
that
the man
part.
is sick of it.
I think that part made it in.
Okay.
Okay, good thing we lost the footage. Cause OBS kind of stopped the recording for some reason. I lost the footage, but the first 10 minutes of the game is just me getting salty that I keep seeing Ezreal. Good thing that part never made it in, so you don't get to hear the full rant ever. It's lost to the ether now.
Alright, but I remember it.
It's
Andy,
okay.
stop playing Ezreal.
Absolute Zero will land, but here comes a set to turn it around.
There's a truth
4 for
for it.
4. See, as soon as the recording goes back, red team's winning. They're gonna find 4 kills here. Essentially.
Are they winning?
Caitlyn?
Are they winning?
No, never mind. Caitlyn gonna try to turn it around. Hey, but blue team was operating on a gold
She
lead.
doesn't have mana for all of that.
Yeah. Blue team was on a gold lead and they kind of lost it. Life from Disintegration Ray not gonna find the Ziggs here. He's had a... The Ray has killed him quite a few times. But this time he does get out with his life. Those 2 deaths are both because the life from Ray hit him. Now the set has to try to catch out the Valkos here. The Valkos gonna find some damage in return. Oh, the true damage does clip him back. The jungler has a reset, but he does take a huge chunk of Valkos' life away with him. Meanwhile, the Illaoi top, I think she's not being pressured nearly as hard. In fact, she's winning. This is a really good position for her.
Up 20 CS, not bad at all.
Yeah, for sure. Like, despite all that pressure that was levied against her, the Kled never was really able to find anything good. But here comes a charge on the mid lane. They're gonna bring in so many people as well. The binding also lands. That's a very, very, very dead Ziggs. That's complete overkill by this point. Kled actually tried to flash away. He was getting minion blocked away. Yeah, he was getting
minion blocked.
Yeah, he couldn't make it out. So that's Kled's flash down. But they do find the Ziggs kill. So really, it's not too bad of a trade. Kled's gonna call for Skarl. The Dark Binding lands onto the Tahm Kench. Nunu's gonna start tossing some snowballs, but they're not gonna find anything here, pretty sure. Blue team will find the Drake, so they get a Drake for themselves as well. Kled gets the remount, and the teleport is coming in. The Mega Inferno Bomb is going to land in the middle of 4 people. Absolute Zero buying some damage. Light from Disintegration Ray on the other side. Valkos secures the Dragon as well as the set kill in this one fell swoop. But the Illaoi is still in the pit, doing so much damage, killing off so many people. It's 3 down for blue team. That was a very expensive Dragon. And now the Valkos might be found out by the Ziggs. The GLP gonna try to slow him down. The Morgana binds him with almost no health. The bouncing bomb! It finds the kill. 4 for 1. But blue team finds the Dragon, but they pay with everybody else. That's not worth it. To say the least. So now what? If you're in blue team's shoes, really Valkos is the only one that's kind of fed. But he can be very easy to shut down. Valkos' biggest problem is his extreme lack of mobility.
As always.
He can be fed, sure, but unless he has adequate protection on the front, it might be really hard for him to actually do anything this game. Do they have a way to protect him? I don't really see it. The thing with Seth is that he's really good against a singular form of engage. If there's only one person on your team that can run in, Seth loves it. All he has to do is just ult him back, and then your engage just ends. And in this case, the person on that team is kind of Kled, because Nunu does snowball in as well, but one of those 2 threats can be neutralized, and Seth just has to throw back the other one. Nunu finds a gank here, and the Facebreaker, doesn't actually pull back. But it might not be needed. Yep, the Ezreal rotates over and kills off the Nunu. And now the Valkos, this might be his first test of the game. Does he have the damage to turn it around? Back shield will keep him safe. Here comes the charge. They've actually peeled off the Valkos. But here comes the returning damage. The Valkos Q finds 1 kill. The Kled is jumping on the Ezreal, beating the crap out of him. And now the Tahm Kench has to try to peel back. The Illaoi has rotated down. Here comes the flash over the wall, licking up the Valkos. The Ignite is on him. He's very dead. The squid has fallen to the Illaoi. Tentacles versus tentacles, and the Illaoi's tentacles are bigger. The frog will drop to the Kled. And now the Ezreal shooting mystic shots. 1 more will dismount him. A mini Kled cannot run away in this situation. They need to try it. Mystic shot finds it. And the Kled gets dismounted. He's trying to get to the blast hole. He hits it. But the mystic shot secures the kill. Meanwhile, bot lane, Caitlyn has been solo pushing all this time, but not enough to offset this CS differential. Ezreal gonna find the Morgana here as well. Morgana's gonna black shield. The Dark Binding will miss. And the flash forward from the Ezreal. But the stopwatch buying the Morgana some time. Beautifully timed Mystic Shot. Killing off the Morgana. Ezreal is now 7-1-2. He's feeling it this game. And the Illaoi gets to kill that top turret. I will say in this final game, we have a lot of comfort picks. We do have a lot of comfort picks for red team. These guys are essentially all playing champs that they're really good at. Maybe except Kevin on Ziggs, because I don't think I've ever seen him play Ziggs. But he's not doing bad for himself. I think he's had a pretty good performance so far. And you can definitely see it, like they're playing with quite a bit of confidence here. Taking fights that they know that they can actually win. Now Nunu's gonna roll a snowball into the Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench has to try to run, but the set has shown himself. Showstopper onto the back. Caitlyn's taking a lot of damage, but the set is in the middle of 4 people. He might just die here. He does die here. The rest of the red team is not here in time. So that's gonna be the jungler dead with no consequence. That was not a correctly calculated play. In contrast to everything I just said. I think I may have just cursed them.
The caster curse.
The caster curse every time. The Dark Binding will just barely whiff. But the Illaoi, she kills off the Morgana Ghost, but she tanks quite a bit of damage in return. The tentacles are beginning the slapping. But it doesn't really hit anybody yet. The Illaoi grabs another ghost. This time it's the Vel'Koz. He's taking so much damage. And here comes the Ezreal blinking in, sniping him away. The Squid gets shut down yet again. And here comes the rest of the fight, breaking open. Caitlyn taking so much damage. She's immediately taken out of the fight. The Mega Inferno Bomb gonna find the Morgana. The Illaoi secures that kill. And now this is a full-on push down the lane. 2 dead for blue team. And 1 person basically limping home. They can't defend this. And the push is gonna continue strong. Is Satchel Charge still up? He does still have the Satchel Charge. They can lay siege to this turret. They could kill it here.
That's insanely strong.
Yeah, they could kill it here.
Oh.
They get it. Holy moly. And now Kled spending all this time solo pushing top turret, but he's a lot slower than red team. Red team secures
He will
the
get this though, so
he will get the
bad.
power. But right now, red team might just rotate to Herald. Because they know Kled has the back here. Doesn't seem like they're starting the Herald. They should start it soon. It's going away in like 30 seconds. Seems like they are gonna start it now. But I think they started a little bit too late here. They were waiting for something. I don't know what. But the Morgana's already off in the wings. She can't solo contest this. But the Nunu is rolling snowball in. It's coming in. The blue orb drops. They see this. The real word drops as well. The Ezreal breaks away from Dark Binding, but he finds himself in the middle of 3 people. He's going to be erased by the Kled. Kled takes a 1,000 gold shutdown here. Nunu off in the side. He's channeling Absolute Zero. There's no carry left for red team. They might be in a hairy situation. Facebreaker finds a Caitlyn though. Caitlyn's going to take so much damage. She's going to be dropped down. The Kled in the back still wreaking havoc. The Life from Disintegration Ray coming out strong. Set is using the last one's life to charge in, but it's not enough. The Tentacle from Illaoi only does a little bit of damage, but finds no kill. They lose the AD carry, but kind of break even on the fight. However, they do lose the Herald. They weren't able to secure it in time. The Kled does remount. He's doing so much damage. Will he get dismounted? No, he will not. The Ghost gets returned to him. He has defended it long enough. The True Shot Barrage doesn't find him. It wouldn't have killed him. It would just have dismounted him, but still.
Yeah, that Illaoi was wreaking havoc, but you know, nobody close. That Vel'Koz just stood back and life formed situation.
Yeah. But I do think they salvaged that fight despite losing their AD carry first. There was a huge blunder from the Ezreal. Yeah, he was so concerned with Arcane shifting to dodge the Dark Binding. He didn't really think about the fact that Morgana wouldn't be there unless she has help right behind her. And he kind of blinks into her and just dies. And that's a really bad way to start a team fight, losing your carry. But fortunately, red team was able to kind of pull it back and minimize losses and even take some for themselves. Meanwhile here, there might be another fight. Kled is trying to fight a Frog. The Frog has to get in front of him to stop the charge, but no, they'll just call it off actually. So the game's settling down a little bit. The gold is actually perfectly even. Essentially perfectly even. The 400 differential might as well not exist. So both teams definitely had their strong characters. Oh, the Valkov shooting in the blind. He pops his full combo. But the snipe from Caitlyn finds it regardless. But Valkov's popped this entire combo in the fog. Not gonna find anything. Once again, red team, are they gonna come into a fight without their AD carry here? It seems like they've been forced. Their hand has been forced. Set gets eaten and spat back out. The Haymaker trying to land a desperate charge. It's not enough. They get locked down. 2 kills here for blue team. Once again, Ezreal gets called out to start the fight. Not the outcome you want. These positional mistakes from Ezreal costing red team huge, and this might be Baron. Doesn't seem like this will be contested here. Blue team will secure Baron Nashor. That's gonna blow the goal lead wide open here. Is there gonna be a miracle steal? It's against a Nunu, so it's not gonna happen. Blue team slays Baron Nashor. Now they just have to try to make their way home. Alawi has to call it off as well. Bear Trap on the rope does find her. She grabs the Kled's soul, and the Kled has to retreat. But man, oh man, this game just turned in favor of blue team. So now I think red team has to start realizing that they've been put on the back foot here. They can't try for these aggressive fights. Well, at least they can, but they can't make that same positional mistake anymore. 2 fights in a row now. Ezreal starts the fight dead. And one more might actually just seal the game for them. They're gonna try to set up a Death Brush in blue team's own jungle. They're sitting on a pink. Little do they know, Morgana is sweeping above them. They're gonna book it back to the long brush and move as one unit. Now they're securing the Drake, but blue team outmaneuvers them completely and rotates into the Drake pit ahead of them. Mega Inferno Bomb gonna drop, but blue team is gonna get the dragon here. The fight does get started. Charge already gets used very early. It's a very tiny slow zone, but here comes the Disintegration Ray. It's shredding through everybody. Alawi is the first victim. Massive damage!
Out of the fight.
Alawi's out of the fight. Red team can't commit here. True Shot Barrage not gonna find a kill. Only finds a few chunk members. The Valkov still landing damage on the back, but he's a little bit overextended. Kled is protecting the Valkov with his own body, but he gets dismounted here. The Frog is taking so much pain, but the bomb and the Ezreal finds the Valkov, and the Kled next to follow. I keep forgetting names. There's so much is happening. The Headshot kills off that Ziggs. And now there's just one person left alive for blue team with the 2 on red. The Toad is super low, but the Ezreal's not giving up the chase. He's blinking in. The Mystic Shot will whiff. He has her in his sights. He dodges away the trap. Mystic Shot lands on her. 2 more will do it. He doesn't have the Arcane Shift. He has to give up the chase. But that was a 4-3 team fight in favor of red team. However, they lose the Drake. When their Death Brush failed, they desperately tried to run it back. It wasn't fast enough to stop the Drake, and they kind of walked into a really bad fight. They didn't have time to do their setup. They didn't have time to flank. And Valkov just kind of pops off in that fight. But despite all that, he overextends later and just gets picked off and die. So blue team, they have to be careful here. They have to realize that this game has once again swung back to even. It comes down to the tiniest advantages, the tiniest positional mistake. Which team can capitalize on it? Which team can win here? So, how is this game gonna pan out? Who do you think will win this game?
This is such a narrow game, but I don't know. I feel like red team is gonna win this because no one can really, as long as the Ezreal positions correctly and he doesn't, Pepega. It's very hard for blue team to actually kill him, and he's so strong right now. So strong.
I will point out that Ezreal's scoreline should really say 12-1, but those 2 mistakes have been so costly.
If Ezreal keeps making these mistakes, maybe blue team.
Yeah, but the Alawi gets caught out here.
Does eat a full disintegration.
Yep. She gets disintegrated. But here's the thing, I don't think this game can take the Ezreal's death going to 4. Let's just put it that way. That second number on Ezreal's scoreline should not be 4. If it is 4, it's disastrous for red team. I don't think they can really stomach another Ezreal death. This game is so close, on the verge of being broken open.
The Ziggs is coming back. He needs a little bit more time, but he's relevant in these fights.
He is, but the problem is not being relevant. The problem is like how long he can survive, and it just takes the Caitlyn like half a second to get on him and he's dead. You saw the headshot kill him from half to 0 in 1 hit in that last team fight. He is working on his design as Hourglass, so he will be a lot safer when that is done, but he doesn't have it done yet. And 27.5 minutes, you don't want to be sitting on 1.5 items. Not to mention the Ezreal is still in the stage of scaling up. So when the Ziggs and the Ezreal are in the same lane, they're kind of sharing income, which is even worse for the Ziggs because he's not getting any farm here. He desperately needs income to just become relevant, and he's not finding it. He does finally get Zions now. Sitting at Amtome, he's working on Morelos, I believe. I will say that despite having Glacial Augment, Ziggs did forego the GLP build. He's going for Luden's Echo. In that case, you probably shouldn't be taking Augment, especially because Ziggs kind of finds it difficult to auto in fights as well. Taking Comet or even Dark Harvest would have been better here. So essentially the Ziggs is playing right now without the Keystone. It's so hard for him to get those autos off in team fights. But here might come another fight. Lifeform Disintegration Race through the back. But he gets instantly interrupted. He was channeling into Set's face. Set is diving full up for him. He gets eaten up by the Tomkin Jet return. But behind him is a huge snowball. The Frog tanks it up. Red team surrounded on all sides. Ezra has to blink away from the only safe avenue remaining. The Illaoi gets killed off in the middle of all that mess. The 3-second bind onto the Ziggs. So many bodies dropping onto the floor for red team, and now the Ezreal is coming back. He wants to return some damage. One more Mystic Shot. He doesn't kill off the Valkaz. The Dragon is going to be started here. This is going to be Ocean Soul for blue team. Caitlyn channels the headshot onto the Ezreal. Ezreal gets chunked out. He needs to try the lifesteal and come back. The jungler is still alive. He might try for something crazy here. He flashes over, but he flashes over blind. He smites him out. He smites the Nunu out of the cave, but it's not enough. The Ocean Soul is secured. The Set is in the middle of everybody. The Caitlyn headshot kills him off, and now the Ezreal solo against 3 people. He's not gonna find his way out. Ace for blue team, and the Soul secure on top of that as well. Now they're gonna book it straight to Baron Nashor. The Ocean Soul regen is enough to keep them alive. And red team just now respawning 1 by 1, but they're not gonna make it here in time, I don't think.
Wait, this Ziggs is itemizing completely wrong, right? He has Glacial Augment. Why is he not going
Yes,
GLP?
I spent the last 2 minutes talking about that.
Sorry, Logan. Sorry, I'm sorry. I was phased out.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've seen this multiple times. Ziggs that go Glacial Augment and don't build the GLPs. Is he just using a Mobile Fire build? What's going on?
That's very questionable indeed, but here comes the Illaoi. She's caught out, and blue team has Baron. Life from Disintegration Ray kills out the Frog, and then the Illaoi's in the middle of everybody. Test of Faith not enough. Caitlyn lives as well. Everybody on red team is dying 1 by 1. They lost the Soul, they lost the Baron, and they're very close to losing their base. Hope is quickly dwindling from their eyes. And now the full-on siege is coming. True Shot Barrage tickles the minion wave. They still have a very healthy siege going on. The next minion wave is approaching shortly. The cannon is still firing free. Nobody can touch it. The respawn timers aren't counted down yet for blue team, for red team, and blue team is continuing their siege. Red team was so close to glory, but these team fights not in their favor whatsoever. Valkaz showing up huge this game, and even the Caitlyn.
Absolutely.
Even the Caitlyn's really strong. She hasn't been set back at all. And that's gonna be one loss.
I think the Caitlyn's just been scaling up over time, but this Valkaz I think has been making the plates. His life form disintegration rates have been on point.
Yeah, exactly. And here comes the binding onto the Illaoi. The Illaoi might get caught out here again. The tendrils are slapping, but she gets eaten by the Tom Kinch and saved for now. So many people on blue team really low, but they can't really secure the damage. Is True Shot coming in to chip him out? Yep, it's gonna find one and force another flash, but no death. That's the critical part. All 5 members of blue team still wearing purple. And I will say at this stage, red team has one hope remaining. 3 minutes from now, Elder Dragon will spawn.
You know, I don't think it's crazy that red team can still win a fight and then just barrel down mid lane with the death.
Yes, absolutely. If they win this next fight, they just win the game. But the same is true for the other side. And the odds are so stacked. Teamfight after teamfight, they fail to find that catch on Valkos. And even when they get them, there's just no follow-up. And now they're fighting against Ocean Soul. It doesn't look favorable for them to actually win anything here. They need a really brave catch out. This might start it off. Valkos' soul gets pulled, but the disintegration ray kills her off instead. Oh no. That's not a good way you want to start your team fight. And now they've lost their top laner yet again. The Illaoi went from 6-0-5 to 6-5-5. That's how bad the game has gone for her. She just died 5 times. There's no additional kills or assists. And the snowball gonna be rolled in the back. The Nunu is feeling it here. He's gonna walk back and channel Absolute Zero. The Ezreal's taking so much pain. They have to run back to their fountain now. It's their last safe haven, but their base is in shambles. The rest of blue team pushing in. There's a healthy minion wave. Caitlyn shooting out of the tower, and the Kled securing the final inhibitor. This will be triple inhib. There's no coming back from this.
Right as Elder is about to spawn.
Yep, red team loses everything they once had, and more to boot. Illaoi respawns. She's holding Guardian Angel now, so maybe this time will be different. They walk into, they find Morgana. The pit goes down. Science goes down as well. Soul Shackle stuns up one, but she gets killed off. She's the only victim. She left behind as a martyr. Blue team books it out of the red team's base, and they're just fine.
I hope blue team does not overstay here.
Yep.
And get completely demolished.
Exactly.
That would be the throw.
The overstay will be the throw, but luckily most of them have already reset safely. Kled goes back for his own Guardian Angel. He's not dying in these fights anyway. In fact, why pick up Guardian Angel on Kled? You don't remount with Scarl. The respawn will respawn you as mini Kled, and you have to build your courage all over again. I think he's BMing. What's that item by? Unless
he's padding his score, Logan. He's padding his score.
Unless Scarl also gets his own GA, that would be hilarious and broken. But now Elder Drake respawning in 40. This is the Hail Mary play. No matter how badly your base gets demolished, you have to contest this Elder. You can't just let it go. There's no hope for you. Every time people think, oh, we can fight Elder, and then you realize, oh, yeah, you can't. There's like a 160 damage true damage burn, and you die at 25. This is not a buff that you can just let go. This is the Hail Mary. They have to contest. They can't just lose it. But they can't even leave their base. I've never seen, for as long as this season has gone already, the season started in like what, November, and it's April now? I've never seen a team beat another team that's wearing Elder. And this is gonna be the Elder buff. Nunu secures it. So this is certainly the push to end the game. You cannot beat this. This is a team that's so strong that they can A-click into your base and win it. Here comes the charge to start it off, but Nunu Snowball crashes into the turret ruins. And here comes the rest of the fight. Morgana Soul Shackle is going to lock everybody up. Illaoi trying to pop some damage, but the Elder buff breezes onto her first. But wait, they lost 2 people! Morgana and Caitlyn have both died! And now this is suddenly a full rout? How did that happen? The Nunu is going to be chased down again. The Tom Kench wearing his shield. The Elder buff breezes on him, making him the first victim. There's still 3 alive for blue team. Now they're going to try to re-engage. Red team has gotten their first inhibitor back. And here comes the snowball, rolling it back in. They're not going to find a target, but they're going to find an inhib here. Red team is way too busy wave clearing to deal with that down inhib. Ezreal's gonna come back here to try to secure some damage. And the Set in the back, he's getting chunked out. The Elder buff might breathe down on him. It's gonna breathe down. Set goes down. 3 for 3 so far. Ezreal's still alive, but he's against a Vel'Koz that's still ready to lay down the damage. And here's the Q, here's the W, the E will miss, the pistol not gonna find him. But the Ezreal is just tanking poke on his way in. The true damage burn is taking him down. Any more damage, he might just die to the burn. The Vel'Koz Q landing so much damage. The burn is so insane. All 11 towers for red team has fallen. Now it's just an open nexus. Life of Disintegration Ray is up again. Vel'Koz is biding his time, and he lets it loose. The Ziggs dies to the breath, and here comes the Illaoi. The respawn is here, but the ultimate finds absolutely nothing. The Kled is slapping in the backline. The Frog has dropped again to the breath, and the Illaoi, having respawned, also contends with the Morgana returning to the fight. Caitlyn has made her base made her way into the base as well. It's just a little bit way too much. They can't stop this. Ezreal dies to the breath. The last living member on the fountain cannot find safety, and the Nexus is going down. The 6th place finish has happened. Ace. And the game's over.
Unfortunately, you can see, no matter how sloppy that fight was by Blue Team, that was an awful, awful fight. They still win it just with the power of
Elder Drake, man.
Elder Drake.
What can I say?
Vel'Koz being alive.
What can I say other than Elder Drake? It's the most. It's such a lopsidedly powerful buff.
Rip the prediction.
You came very close though. You came to you guessed 5th. They placed 6th, but I think this is the first time that this team actually placed 6th. So you know what? I'm gonna give you the skin anyway.
No, I don't want the skin. I did not earn. I don't want this.
But it's a meme.
It has to be earned. It has to be earned.
All right. Here, how about if I can afford it, I'll give it to you. Oh, look, I can afford it.
No. Look, I insist.
You insist? Okay, fine. I will not give it to you.
I insist.
All right. So that is gonna be the end of the Freljord MEGACAST. Unfortunately, we lost like 9.5 minutes of footage in there, but good thing nothing happened during those 9.5 minutes. It's not like I lost the last 9.5 minutes. That would have sucked. Whew.
Oh, what a game.
What a doozy of a cast.
Let me go slam Andy.
All right.
No, actually, good. It was a good game, but
it was a pretty well fought game. So, GG's to everybody. It was a blast. Unfortunately, my throat is really tired now, so I'm gonna give it a rest.
Rip Logan's voice.
If they play again tomorrow, we'll do this again tomorrow. But boy, oh boy, it's really taxing. So that's gonna be the end of our Ice Cup coverage. 6th place finish.